ladies and gentlemen, it's me, Sonic, WWE 318, back again for another review for you guys. And today, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for your WWE WrestleMania 39 review. Yes, the Showcase of the Immortals has finally, obviously, come and gone. Obviously enough at the time you're actually seeing this video, obviously enough. And obviously enough, you obviously might ask yourself, Sonic W318, where in the hell was your prediction video to start this thing off on? Yeah, guys, I am going to honestly say it right here, right now. I desperately am sorry and truly am for just truly am upset, personally am upset that I was not actually able to actually cover my predictions of the show before the show actually happened, per se, because I am not going to lie. I actually was in the process of actually making my video for you guys, but yeah, it just did not turn out really good. Well, and I am not gonna lie, I had a somewhat mental breakdown pre making the video, because as I was in the process of making the video, I was barely a good way through my first night predictions on night 1 out of 2 for my predictions, and I was already 33 minutes into the video time overall recording, and that just did not seem well to me, and I just didn't feel like personally that was up my alley to actually personally keep you guys that long, even though obviously enough my WrestleMania content it's pretty much already kind of from the get go. It's kind of already it's already pretty much established that you can say, well, there's a lot of talk about WrestleMania. It's WrestleMania time, and you're obviously coming to a boiling point, to saying, of course, you have all the storylines heading to this Showcase of the Immortals. So of course, it's gonna be one of, if not the longest time to stretch out your thoughts and opinions on these kind of shows and these kind of storylines heading into a show like this. But I personally just didn't want to see it through like that, and I honestly could have just said and kind of expressed my thoughts way more differently and way more briefly than what I did at the time, to actually give you guys a more clear and concise version of the video that you would have seen, other than what you could have seen out of that video that was already in the production being made when I kind of pulled the plug on it, obviously enough. So that's one reason of why I did not go ahead and make that video for you guys. But another reason why is because, honestly enough, in all cases scenario, was not ready for WrestleMania this year. Obviously enough, no matter if it was me coming on here with my pre-established thoughts, obviously in mind to clearly give you guys a well enough, focused and properly concise, prediction video heading to the show, as I obviously just said, for starters. And two, I was just not caught up in WWE, both Raw and SmackDown overall as a whole, for like what seems like maybe close to 3 weeks into maybe a month. So I literally was like I was literally watching Raw and SmackDown's clips off of YouTube. I literally had a YouTube playlist saved from like what seemed like, if I'm not remember straight, I'm pretty sure it started out like over 100 videos overall as a whole, to watch all these videos in 2 speed mode and maxed out speed all the way out just mere hours before WrestleMania 39 started on night 1, obviously enough. So that kind of just made me feel like I was in a kind of a rush, in a sense of just kind of getting into in the speed of things, actually getting ready for WrestleMania, obviously enough, just heading to the show, obviously enough, as a whole. So, and kind of joking in a way, sense, obviously the sense actually now knowing firsthand, say obviously with like caught up with with WWE stuff heading to the show, I was kind of like the argument between going back and forth, going back and forth between Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns and someone just in not Sami Zayn, blah. Solo Sokola, obviously never say like, oh, you're not ready. Oh, you're not ready. Guess what, guys? I wasn't ready for WrestleMania. So yeah. So, but all jokes aside, though, guys, that is pretty much a short and sweet version of this. Since I'm obviously going on almost 5.5 minutes talking to you guys about this intro of why there was not a prediction video for WrestleMania 39 this year, because obviously enough, I just wasn't ready for it overall. I had to do a lot of catch up personally behind the scenes, and with the production I was already making it to be, I fell flat on my face mentally and thought I could have done a hell of a lot better than what I was doing for the time. And I just didn't. I just thought I already had. Besides the fact, obviously enough, I already had stuff going on previously behind the scenes. Obviously enough with work, and obviously working on another video project that was a personal video project of mine that has nothing to do with YouTube. Obviously enough, no matter if it's my YouTube channel or my other channel, obviously enough, this video I was working on was more purse to home, close to my chest, working on signing up to help someone else, obviously not on the side of my family. So that was I was somewhat prioritizing myself, both going into making that prediction video of mine, let alone fact like a day and a half to maybe 2 days before, working on that video, trying to get that video as much as I can, as fast as I can, doing that video, obviously enough. So all case scenario, I was just not ready for WrestleMania this year at the time of actually making that video. And I overall hope you guys could just forgive me for what I did and couldn't do that for you guys. And I am hoping that I can make it out to you guys with this review for WrestleMania 39. Because obviously enough, no shit, you guys may not be able to tell this, but I am making this video just raw after watching night one, because this review is going to be you're not going to be able to pretty much know this per se, because with the way I'm going to be editing this video and uploading the video, you guys are not going to be able to notice this. But the way I'm going to be making this video is I'm going to be ranking this video purely raw right after I collectively briefly get my thoughts together, just right after I briefly just get out of watching the show, both night one and night two. Obviously nothing. This first half you're currently watching right now is my content I am going to be covering with night one of WrestleMania 39. Obviously enough. So all you're going to be seeing as of right now is my raw, obviously just straight out of the gate, my thoughts and opinions and just everything just purely just right out of the blue, watching the actual show post WrestleMania 39 night one. So obviously enough, this is going to kick us off the way with night one, obviously enough, with none other than starting off the show, and obviously starting out with none other than John Cena taking on Austin Theory for the United States Championship. My prediction for this match was for John Cena to win this match, for him to rise above the stigma of always having him to be the one to put others over as of late, and to take the title into Raw to open challenge, obviously enough to towards the likes of Braun Breaker or Jay White to make their main roster debut. But would it be too surprised if Theory got the win for him to be put over by Cena, obviously enough? Which, sadly enough, we saw that happen as Austin Theory did in fact won this match by cheap as means. I'm gonna say that in a second. But either way, no matter what I'm gonna say about that, that's here in a second. Either way, Austin Theory won this match. So that's my previous score, 0-1. And my thoughts, as I was just about briefly going to say right here, my thoughts were match itself, while slow in pacing as it went along, did pick up a bit of speed towards its end. Only if said end made any damn sense. If they wanted to make Theory go up and go over Cena in style, wouldn't you want it to be in a clean fucking fashion? This only makes the pun intended and problematic theory of WWE trying to push Theory as the next and upcoming guy narrative even more ridiculous and absurd as ever, seeing as we as the viewer should naturally be feeling and expressing ourselves over, seeing Theory do and be the guy that obviously WWE is trying to legitimately see it as seeing as, being the next guy. See that stuff come naturally ourselves in due time, while if and when Theory himself gets to that level, and not in the and not in the hands of corporate, as I just said, in the hands of corporate hands of trying to do the whole Roman Reigns style fashion of him being shoved down our throats. So, that's just the fact of obviously, that narrative is not being helped, and, pretty much is not being more than obviously being supported than the way of freaking Austin Theory, giving freaking John Cena the low blow and just straight up A-Town down victory kind of right off the bat. And it's just so fucking sickening, guys. It was just so fucking sickening to see that shit. Obviously, guys, that was just sickening to see. So, yeah. Moving on from that bit of freaking, that sort of minor temper tantrum of mine, kinda was also thinking Cena's win was gonna be a bit predictable, seeing as his attire of red, white, and blue was going into this match. But with the result we got, though, truly an upsetting, once again, opening of the card as we move on with the rest of the show to hopefully pick up the slack with this match that this match gave us to open things off on. So obviously enough, we move on from this match to move on to the whole showcase freaking tag team showcase WrestleMania mumbo jumbo match. There's a way that they called this match actually on the show, but I can't obviously remember off key what they called it, so blah. I'm just calling it the tag team showcase match, so blah. In either case, we had the likes of Braun Strowman and Ricochet taking on the likes of the Street Profits, with them also taking on the likes of the Alpha Academy as well as the Viking Raiders. And my prediction for this match was for the Street Profits to win, while I wouldn't mind seeing Strowman and Ricochet getting the win here as well, as my prediction came true, as the Street Profits did in fact win this match. So that makes my prediction score tied at 1-1. And my thoughts on this match was right out of this previous match's distasteful nature of a finish. This match comes storming right out of the gate and right on through, as this match and all its competitors pulled all the stops and then some to truly give us one hell of a ride. This match could have easily been a bathroom break quality match on paper if it wasn't once again for the teams that made up the very foundation of this match to truly show each other what they all truly possess. It ended up with a match that in of itself could have opened the show and left no one complaining. In fact, if that in fact was the case, of the show opened up with this match instead of the likes of Cena and Theory. So, huzzah. So, moving on from that, we had Logan Paul taking on Seth Rollins. My prediction for this match was for Rollins to win, and he in fact did so, and that makes my prediction score 2-1. Finally enough, actually coming out with the actual win so far on the show. Haha. So, with that being said, my thoughts on this match was, while not one of the let me rephrase it, while not one of the better matches Paul has given us out of his run so far, if not it being it from the speculation of his contract running out as of the night of Mania, to be honest, he and Seth truly gave us a fun and exciting match together, to say the very least. They went out and gave us two false finishes that, while I wouldn't have liked the second one if of Paul hitting the GTS and an attendant frog splash onto Rollins being a bit too soon after the last one, that truly could have been the end of the match after the whole, KSI reveal and pedigree in the ring on Paul, truly made us as the viewer invested on the edge of our seats to see just when the finish was truly to come out of this match. Nothing short of a fun match here in Mania for sure. But honestly enough, guys, if I'm not wrong, wasn't KSI and Logan Paul like bitter enemies? Because didn't they have like a freaking boxing match, or was that Jake Paul and freaking KSI? Or wasn't that like there wasn't like honestly enough, I don't give a shit about any of that drama and all that bullshit that happened behind the scenes of whatever the fuck that was going on. Like I said, I could give a shit care less about all that garbage. But still, wasn't it both KSI and Logan Paul had a match, a legitimate boxing match, or wasn't it both them and their younger brothers as well with whoever the hell KSI brother is and Jake Paul? Didn't they have a fight too? And they were kind of making that a big deal recently, or even like throughout the last couple of years or some shit like that. But I don't know. Like I said, I could give a crap less about that shit, obviously enough. But that's just that. This is legit art content. Throwing that shit out of the way. That's just something I wanted to kind of point out of the way because kind of when it happened, I'm just like, why is KSI being buddy buddy with Logan Paul? But like I said, this is a small ass little kind of nitpicky kind of question that kind of threw me away as soon as he was revealed as that whole pedigree or whatever the fuck that water bottle or spirit, that freaking energy drink or whatever the hell Logan Paul sponsored by was some sort of drink thing. So he came out and obviously along Logan Paul and obviously was in the match actually ringside alongside Logan Paul through the whole entire match with him and Seth Rollins. So that happened, and obviously, I just want to point that out for myself, saying, okay, what the hell was that about? And kind of made no sense to me personally. But moving on from that mumbo jumbo this of KSI and Logan Paul being buddy buddy, apparently enough, we move on to the next match, which was none other than Becky Lynch, Lita, and Trish Stratus taking on Damage Control. My picks for this match was for Lynch and Company to win this match, and they in fact did so. So they missed my freaking score 3-1. And my thoughts on this match was, while not a totally bad match overall, this definitely seems like the most downside of the show so far, as it kind of felt off in its pacing as well as taking the crowd kind of out of things, with them not really being into it as they could have been. But for the upside that could be said for it though, the match was at least entertaining to watch. Again, it was sadly a bit slow pacing wise in my opinion, and a bit of a predictable and kind of just let's just kind of end this off thing off, shall we? Kind of ending, just kind of just like the way it just came to end, just kind of they just came together, just like okay, we wrestled for a while, let's just put an end to this, shall we? So let's just go, guys. So yeah, but once again, though, not totally a worse kind of thing that's on this overall 2 night card so far. And obviously just overall, because obviously no one looking at what we got for both night. Looking at what we got at night 2. Yeah, we got some potential shit coming our way on this card, to be honest, guys. But that's to be seen, guys. That's to be seen. But still, and hope, but so once again, this match could be a hell of a lot worse than what we could be seeing on this card, but still, just something that could have been a bit better in my personal opinion. So with that said, moving on from this, we had the infamous father versus son match as we had Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio up next after this match. As my prediction was none other than Dominic Mysterio for the win. For the sake of keeping his hot and heated momentum going strong, but for also for us to get a rematch out of this to come at Backlash, a stipulation match of some sort. But wouldn't have mind seeing Ray got the win here if they so choose to end things off here for what's already been given to us already throughout this feud. And my prediction was incorrect, as Ray came through with the win and to much celebratory praise at WrestleMania 39, obviously enough. As this prediction made me to the prediction score of obviously 3-2. And my thoughts on this match was, match truly delivered all that we'd expected in all the right ways, as both father and son showed each other their strengths and gave us this match the right kind of feeling this feud has led us to the point into doing so. Truly a fun time seeing Ray do his thing while still giving room for Dominic to shine as well and get his licks in on his dad whilst getting help from his crew in obviously the Judgment Day, obviously enough help coming in to help Dom, as Ray had his hand in help from the newly accrued LWO to end it off on a fine match that I could and wouldn't mind seeing continue heading towards Backlash for whatever story they can make to continue doing so. Once again, though, a fun and entertaining ride both between both father and son to surely say the least. So, now moving on from that, we had the SmackDown Women's Championship match between Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. My picks for this match was for Rhea Ripley to win, but honestly wouldn't be too surprised if they somehow made Flair retain out of this match. But that was not the case, as Rhea Ripley did in fact won this match and has become your new SmackDown Women's Champion. So with this said, my prediction was correct, blah, and my prediction score after this match was 4-2. And my thoughts on this match was at first was gonna stick to my early interpretation on this match and just call it a true dud, with it not really getting me invested in regards of its build and just where I was seeing this match as a whole coming out of it as it was as its beginning stages. Blah. But when it came to its end, though, is where it turned that thought of mine right on its head and gave us a good match from where it started and how it, again, wasn't built up really well narratively heading into this grand showcase. Obviously enough. Both women gave it their all to try and put the other away and truly had me going with some of the close finishes that were at play, up to the moment of Flair going limp on the post, truly spelling the end of the match for sure to give Rhea Ripley the recognition she surely as hell deserves. Obviously enough. Nothing too grand, but serviceable for the expectations going into this match for sure, to put it simply enough. So, once again, like I said, this match could have been a hell of a lot worse. It started off rather kind of lackluster, but it sure as hell picked up by the end, obviously enough. So, moving on from this, we had the main event for night one, which was Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn taking on the Usos for the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Championship. My prediction for this match was for Owens and Zayn to win, mind you. Obviously, let me rephrase that a little bit. And obviously enough to the much rejoice of the WWE Universe, we have new tag team champions as Sami Zayn finally gives the rub over the Bloodline at the stage of time of the Bloodline storyline, as Sami Zayn gets the win with his good old brother Kevin Owens as they become the tag team champions here in WWE. Obviously enough to the much praise and adoredness of us fans. Blah. Moving on from that kind of hypeness, my prediction obviously came true. Obviously enough with all this jazz out of the way, and my prediction score out of this match was 5-2. And my thoughts on this match was, must I say more than what some, if not most of us, were doing and feeling by the end of this match with tears in our eyes, seeing as the result that we've been wanting and waiting for since the start of Zayn's ride with the Bloodline? Seriously, guys, these guys truly brought it all and then some into this match, as the close calls and finishes just kept coming and going left and right. But when it truly came down to it, though, it was just simply time to light the sparkling flame of celebration as soon as Zayn gave a smirk of admiration before the finishing blow of the third haluva kick to end us off on. Would I wanted just a bit more hype and adrenaline in the beginning than what we got, seeing as this was in fact a storyline we've hellishly been following for ages, as it seems. Sure, but as long as we got the magical feeling we did at the end of the night, as the way as sure as hell as I did, with tears once again streaming down my face a bit after the match came to a close, with the result we all wanted in the end. That's just the minorest of nitpicks that could have been said of this gem of a match to end this night truly off on. Obviously enough. So with that being said, this obviously is the end of night one, and this makes my prediction score so far on the show so far at 5 wins and 2 loses. And my thoughts on night one so far overall was this, and I quote: while it started with much of a rocky and shallow start with that Cena and Theory match finish, the show overall, when it came to a close, turned out to be quite the ride, to say the least, to make up from where it started and left a distasteful taste in our mouths. Granted, the night did in fact have its issues, having some ups and downs in regards to pacing throughout some of the matches, but beyond that, the show definitely had and kept my attention all the way through, and at least left me enjoyable for what I've watched out of it all. Not to mention once again how the Zayn and Owens victory truly left us an emotional pridefulness to truly end the night off on as well. Heading into tonight two, if I'm heading into night two once again with high hopes for the matches that truly are worthwhile, but hoping that some of the others are at least partially worth watching to say the least. As once again, like I said, heading into night two, there is at least two matches I can per se can obviously say are on the fence of definitely being okay. I'm not watching this shit. I'm going to the bathroom. Or I'm gonna go do something away from watching this stuff, and I'll just be back in a few minutes. Kind of matches, which you can definitely see, you can definitely tell if you can definitely tell one of those matches from a mile away, but you're going to probably hear me say that once I get to that match when we touch upon that. Heading up next, heading on to night two. But obviously enough, that is then, this is now, and this has been my raw intuitional thoughts and expressions heading out of night one of WrestleMania 39, and I shall be back here like I did once again here for night two of WrestleMania 39. So obviously, like I said, once again, night one once again was kind of an start of a match, starting kind of way of actually, as much as I'm seeing more common collective, you guys should have seen me when that match ended with Cena in Theory, because oh my god, I was just a dumpster fire at that point because I was just surely mad. I sure, I sound calm and collected right now, but trust me, guys, I was a hellfire when that match ended. I'm just gonna say that right there. I'm just gonna say that right there. So once again, guys, obviously enough, this concludes this first partial half of the review of WrestleMania 39, and I shall see you guys briefly enough into night two. Obviously enough. So with this said, you are not obviously like I said from the get go. All this is not going to seem kind of off putting to you, but to me, I'm kind of wrapping this part of the review off. So it's this feels kind of weird, guys, for me kind of ending a part one, kind of ending a half kind of part of a review. So it kind of seems like it kind of feels off putting for me saying goodbye to you guys when I'm not really saying goodbye just yet. But point still stands. I am concluding this part of night one of this two-parter of a show. So with this said, I'm going to bring it to the bridge of this video to bring the bridges over from this part of the video to the next part of the video. So with this said, this has concluded my night one review of WrestleMania 39. I enjoyed it for what it was worth, and I shall see you guys next time, right up tomorrow night after I come after watching night two of WrestleMania 39. So with that said, I'll see you guys then. And so with that said, bridge, transition, bring us right on over.
One WrestleMania night later.
Well then, now with that transition of having Shadow the Hedgehog randomly welcome us in here tonight too, we are finally here to talk about night two of WrestleMania 39. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, I guess they sure as hell are right. The lights in Hollywood sure shine bright, because we apparently had, once again, we apparently had Shadow the Hedgehog welcome us into this part. Yeah. All jokes aside, though, guys, we are finally here after literally just bare minutes and moments after I collected my thoughts and literally just finished watching night two of WrestleMania 39 off with a bang, here to finally kick off and actually end this review in style, then to close this chapter of the Showcasing the Immortals, the 30th annual, the 39, no, 30, as if I said 38th, blah, 39th annual Showcase of the Immortals off in style here on the channel well enough. So, with this said, we're not going to wait, and we're going to get right started with night two of the Showcase of the Immortals, as we started off the night with none other than the Beast Incarnate Brock Lesnar taking on Omas. My prediction for this match was for Lesnar to win, and he well enough won this match, obviously enough. So that's my prediction score, 6-2, carrying over to what we actually we're going for last time. Carrying myself over from last night rather. So with this starting off show, my show predictions kick right back off from night two with none other once again to 6-2 score. So that said, my thoughts on this match was and I quote, "A quick and painless match to open us off on here in night 2. Truly could have been a hell of a lot worse and entertaining and unentertaining than what we got here, but thankfully this match at least was serviceable enough to watch. Truly was and still is the weak link of this overall card, hanging to it all to be fair, in that it was the match of most of us, if no, let me rephrase this. If, this was the match that most, if not all of us, wasn't looking forward to seeing, period, on the show overall. But once again, was at least better than expected, with the bar being set very, 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 very much low to begin with, in all honesty. So, blah. The bar was set very, very low on this shit, and they at least met at least some good positivity with the match they actually delivered somehow. But with this said, moving on next out of this match, we had the Women's Tag Showcase, as I'm going to most likely just call it, as WWE themselves most likely called it, but so blah. We had the likes of obviously Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez as a team, taking on the likes of Natalya and Shotzi, taking on the team of Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green, taking on the final team of Ronda Rousey and Shayna Basler. My first match was for Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler to win this match, though I would have had mind seeing Morgan and Rodriguez to get the win here, or even the likes of Natty and Shotzi, but by any means that they would anyhow, obviously enough. But obviously enough, we saw Ronda and Shayna Baszler obviously get the win, so as I said, my prediction was true. So this is my prediction score, none other than 7-2. And my thoughts in this match wasn't expected to say or feel this in any way, but Lesnar and Omas surprisingly was better and more entertaining than this whole ordeal. Not to say that this match was anything bad or anything to be upset about, but there just wasn't anything much here to truly grab hold of us all, and it just kind of ended off very sloppily, like with Ronda just simply stepping into the ring to do not much of anything in this match, to just make Shotzi tap out and bring this match to a close, in all honesty. At least the men's tag showcase match has something worthwhile. It wasn't surprised in that, to be honest, in my own opinion, seeing that as I most likely would have thought this match was going to be a fun match heading into it all, despite all the little to no built or reason for it being happening on the card, other than to get all those men, and for this match, obviously this match in general, for that matter, all these women for that matter, on the card, to be honest. But just had to bring the point of comparing the two, as it seems about right to do so, knowing this fact and reasoning of both these matches happening and coexisting, obviously on the card to begin with overall. Again, was at least thinking I'd have at least more fun with this match than Lesnar and Omas, but I suppose not, and kind of they pulled surprise with me with Lesnar and Omas being that, I guess, that somewhat entertaining compared to this match. Go figure. Anywho's, moving on from this, we had the likes of Gunther taking on Drew McIntyre, taking on Sheamus in a triple threat Intercontinental Championship matchup. My prediction for this match for Sheamus to win this match, to finally give him the WrestleMania moment he's always deserved, and in no better fashion than for him to become a Grand Slam champion in doing so, all while doing so without making Gunther look too weak in defeat. But spoiler alert, obviously enough, Gunther did not go down in defeat, as Gunther in fact won this match. So the match prediction score as a lose from this fact, since I lost this match, since Gunther in fact won this match, obviously enough. So that makes my prediction score none other than 7-3. And my thoughts in this match was, other than the ending seeming quite squashes to me, in my opinion, with how Gunther came in and ended the match with power bombing both Drew and Sheamus the way he did to get the win in this fashion. This match was everything we all seen coming and then some, as this was an all-out brawl with all men throwing everything and then some at each other. Not to mention how we each seen a mini match in of itself towards each man going after their two opponents in this hellish war of a matchup. Granted, I would have wanted to see a bit more time between both Drew and Gunther going at it themselves, but the bit of them rolling chops in of itself on each other was more than enough to make it up for it, and as it was truly a memorable moment out of this match with those two overall. most definitely a truly a struggle to see just how and when Gunther himself would truly lose the title, but only makes that anticipation even more better in doing so after this match not to be a clear-cut way of doing so while still making it an enjoyable time in doing so. With the, obviously, no matter if it was selected, either Sheamus getting the win, as I said before, for the previous rematch, as I said in my prediction, or the somehow unpredictable reason of actually getting Drew McIntyre to win for whatever reason, how he would win this match. So, no matter if it's Drew to win somehow or Sheamus got the win in this match, you know, it would have been, a easy and clear cut way of doing so. But like I said, at least it would have been an enjoyable and actually clear cut way of doing so, obviously enough, while making it still, easy as day to do so here at WrestleMania. Obviously, without making, like I said, making Gunther look weak in doing so, obviously enough. Blah. But obviously enough, to put this match simply enough in short, nothing short of what the Brawling Brutes themselves put it best. It loop right back around to Sheamus once again to end this thought process off with none other than a solid banger. Obviously enough to say at least and end off this thought process of mine, of course. So, moving on from this banger of a match, I shall say, once more, we have Bianca Belaire taking on Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. My predictions for this match were for none other than Asuka to win this match, but wouldn't be too surprised if Belaire somehow would retain this match, which in fact she did as I lost this match in prediction, as my prediction score turned out to be 7-4 after this matchup. And my thoughts on this match was a serviceable and entertaining match here between these two. Going into it with little to no expectation, seeing as this was yet another feud with little to no build going for it, but was at least pleased with what we got here in this match. Seeing Belaire truly retain surely is a bit of an upset for some, as the argument could be made that her reign has been stale and uneventful as of late, once again to some, obviously enough, and that an Asuka win here could have guided us onto a fresh start heading out of Mania to see where we go from there in reality, obviously enough. But the counter argument to that could have been also easily enough be that Asuka's character as of late, since her return, hasn't quite reached the niche yet of a target to truly have us all fully invested into it all, obviously enough. And that Belaire's has had quite the run during her reign as well. So you truly pick your poison as to feel here really enough. Obviously enough though, overall though, a fun and enjoyable match with these women despite the build being little to non-existent overall. So, moving on from that, we had Edge taking on Finn Balor, or shall I say, the Brood Edge and the Demon Finn Balor inside a Hell in a Cell for their matchup. My prediction for this match was for Edge to win this match to truly put this feud to an established end once and for all for Edge to solely after they crossed off the best end of things within this feud with the Judgment Day. But wouldn't be too surprised if Balor got the win here due to that fact alone to tip the scales for him to get that end goal winning of him putting an end to this feud in his own way, obviously enough. But obviously enough, we saw the good way of it in this match as Edge himself pulled out the win of this match. As my prediction score came true, once again, like I said before, Edge actually obviously win this match. So that makes my prediction score none other than 8-4. And my thoughts on this match was, for a match that could have in fact been more extreme on some cylinders, it did in fact brought in the tools of destruction throughout it all, as these two did in fact went to hell and back with one another to finally put the nail in the coffin for this feud in a more than pleasant way in doing so. Granted, it kind of halted a bit of momentum when Balor had to get bandaged up after that letter throwing shot into the face that Edge did to him, but they at least played it up for as much as they could, whether or not the spot was legit or not, of Balor really being busted open or not, obviously enough. But judging by the image of the mat being taken up by a bit of droplets of blood, I'd be thinking it's the latter, obviously enough. Overall, while slightly missing the mark of expectations here in my opinion, truly did deliver us a satisfying end to the feud to truly see where both Edge and the Judgment Day go for themselves in their separate ways from here on out after WrestleMania 39, obviously enough. So, moving on from that, we had the main event, which was none other than Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns for themselves going into obviously the main event for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. My prediction for this match was none other than Roman Reigns to win this match for the perspective of not only getting Roman past 1,000 days as champion, but seeing how while this feud's built was serviceable for giving us here at WrestleMania, obviously, it truly could and should have been so much more to show and prove how and why Cody deserves to be the one to dethrone Reigns. And in doing so, could only lead us and could also, I guess, only lead us up to build up to a rematch down the line to possibly do so at SummerSlam if the cards are just right in doing so. Not to mention how I think we should see some sort of struggle of keeping the tribe's name in vain as powerful as can be in the bloodline, now that there's cracks in the foundation that to truly lead to the ultimate and a final flat out pinpoint downfall of the bloodline, seeing as the Usos just lost their titles and not to outright bulldozer through it all in one fell swoop to take the bloodline out and just one big swing at a bat, obviously enough. But if by some means WWE did in fact feel as if it was time to finally call it quits and end here, or just to see where the bloodline could in fact go with the gold not longer no longer be around their waists for whatever reason, then I would have been more than excited to see Cody get the win here. But obviously enough, that did not happen, as Roman Reigns did in fact retain his championship here at WrestleMania against Cody Rhodes to end the night off in style with none other than obviously me getting the win here over Cody Rhodes with Reigns' win. And that makes my predicted score none other than the final score of 9 wins and 4 loses. And my thoughts on this match was what a roller coaster of emotions this match brought to us all. Started a bit slow before truly shooting off like a rocket as it kept going and getting us more and more invested into it all, as the false finishes just kept topping the other, and we see the likes of everyone who's been a part of this chapter of the Bloodline storyline come and make their mark in this matchup, before the match had to end off the way it did and to truly keep Roman reigning supreme as our tribal chief moving forward on from the Showcase of the Immortals to truly just see where and who is next to come out of the bloodline in the story as overall to come out of WrestleMania 39. So, blah. So, with this finally said and done, once again, my total final score of the whole entire shebang of the show of WrestleMania 39 was once again 9-4. And with this said, my overall thoughts on night 2, rather, I was going to say my overall thoughts, but not just yet. But my thoughts on night 2 was, as mentioned here before, that, as mentioned just with the Roman and Cody main event before, this whole night seemed to be a roller coaster of ups and downs to me. Because while I was left satisfied with the end result of it all, I totally can't deny that night 1 was the one night that truly shined as being WrestleMania worthy, as this night just seemed like the heated up leftovers of a decent out on the town kind of dinner that just seemed to want to be served up to us all. Not anything bad or anything, but just something not as fresh and lively as the last time we've ate it on it all, or in this case, coming off the night that we just had prior. Only really reason for this night to go on was the likes of the triple threat match, the Hell in a Cell match, and the main event, to be honest, as the rest could have just been saved or flat out put on over as on a hot and spicy crowd in Raw or SmackDown, to be honest, as that as at as pretty much just as that all was just sadly they pretty much felt like and sadly been like, to be honest, here in my opinion, guys. But again, though, while the night overall didn't shine bright compared to its predecessor, it didn't have its true gems to shine through here and there with its run. So, with that kind of slipping and sliding kind of my thoughts on night 2, you might ask yourself, Sunday 318, what is your overall thoughts on WrestleMania 39 as a whole, putting these two nights together overall? You might ask yourself, well, guys, to put it bluntly, guys, once again, as I've just been saying a lot of times throughout this video, we've been going through a lot of roller coasters of ups and downs. A lot of matches had their pace. A lot of the pacing was good, and obviously really just into it all, just making having our attention full on focus of it all, and having full speed ahead, just obviously just going doing balls to the wall crazy, and giving us hellish and just amazing matches overall that truly delivered to the name value of WrestleMania, obviously enough. But then you obviously have some of your matches where it's just like, okay, you had your kind of your pace, you were started out slow, and then you actually picked up at the end. So obviously you had those kind of matches where you kind of just like, the kind of the your the pacing was just kind of here and there, so that could have been better. But then you just had some of the matches where you're just like, okay, that flat just could have been a hell of a lot better, just flat out, just like not really needed on the card overall. So there is that, obviously enough. But overall, though, guys, this show, serves to the point of being hand that true intentions could in fact be delivered to us as the product keeps going forward under the helm, the current helm, I should say, of Triple H and company. As no matter what happens between the likes of Vince trying to weasel his way back into creative, no matter if or when he does somehow gets back to power once more, God forbidding that ever happens by some chances, even though the rumor mill is in fact that WWE is on for sale closely in the close cut itty bidding deal between the likes of Endeavor, who owns the likes of the UFC. So, because obviously enough, there was a report earlier this morning before WrestleMania 39 Night 2 went on that there could be a close cut deal that between, like I said, Endeavor, the owner of UFC, could come swoop on in and buy WWE and do some sort of collaborative deal between UFC and WWE to form some sort of business, partnership there, or some sort of bridge between the two companies there, between the ownership, under the umbrella of Endeavor for whatever reason. But like I said, I personally try and like to keep myself away from the backstage politics of shit going on in this company, and in the world of this crazy world of sports entertainment we call WWE, obviously enough. But it doesn't help the fact that you literally have to freaking tiptoe your business into that side of the business and legitimately say, okay, if it's not for this, we can't have a good product and good storyline that we want to servicely have on TV. So I have to legit, like I said, dip my toe into that business and say, okay, obviously, once again, if that's doing well, if you got good business behind the scenes, it's only going to deliver good stuff on camera and actually on the screen for us to watch as the consumer and as the viewer, obviously enough. So no matter what happens between the lines of Vince and whoever happens between this, if by some means this legitimate actually happens and WWE is coming up a new ownership, and if Vince somehow between the cracks finds his way to weasel in once again and somehow rises above and conquers it all, this shining company that we've had recently over the likes of Triple H that's been happening over recently and giving us some quality good ass shows as of late. Hopefully we will obviously keep riding the waves of Triple H still to give us this quality content of a show moving forward with what his intentions could still be going forward. Because obviously enough, there's obviously been also rumored that Triple H has a year-round calendar roadmap heading out of the show. So whatever that means could hopefully that legit could still mean something that obviously we can legit still see good quality content coming out of WWE overall, heading towards the future of the business, heading out of this WrestleMania season, obviously enough. So overall, though, with wrapping all this kind of mumbo jumbo together, what my point I'm trying to make here to close out this video short and simply enough is that while this WrestleMania definitely wasn't the strongest, hot steaminess kind of, home run of a go Triple H could have given us, it is once again a good stitch, a good ditch effort that Triple H did in fact give us a solid, good run here for WrestleMania 39. It only serves that there could only be good and positive things coming out for the future of the content of the future of this business going forward as we head on next to none other than Backlash coming up soon, none well enough heading up next here on the channel coming up soon enough as a whole. So with this set and none out of the way, this has concluded once and for all my overall review of WrestleMania 39. I'm about to wrap this short because obviously my battery is running low in my headset as I've been kind of, as you've noticed, myself kind of going in and out with my thoughts slightly here and my words. That is the reason why, because my headset is telling me battery low, hurry your ass up and finish this review, Song 318, blah. So I'm going to cut this actually bitter and short with what I've said before. Overall, guys, once again before, this has once again concluded my overall review of WrestleMania 39. Overall, hope you guys enjoyed it for what it was worth. I hope you guys enjoyed the WrestleMania for what it was worth as well, as we finally are heading on to Backlash to see what it factually is. You know, all put intended, all jokes aside, literally hitting into it all, the Backlash of WrestleMania falling out towards that show as we head on to Puerto Rico for Backlash soon enough to come on the channel and well enough in reality. Well enough, obviously enough. So with this then, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you once again for watching this review. I shall see you guys next time for my review, or my review, and hopefully by then predictions for Backlash well enough soon enough when we get towards that time of the, that time. So, well enough, guys. I shall once again see you guys then. I'm gonna wrap it up here because I blabbered up way too long, well enough, and I'm gonna you guys pretty much have pretty much seen and pretty much already got a lot of other people, probably a lot of content to watch yourself talking about this stuff you're on your own. So well enough, I'm going there it goes again. Shut up, headset. Blah. No, I'm wrapping up this review. Shut up. But well enough, guys. I'm gonna shut it up here. I'm gonna wrap it up here. We're gonna roll up the red carpet once and for all, and we're going to say goodbye to the likes of Hollywood, and we're going to head on to Backlash soon enough here on the channel. Well enough, coming up soon. So with this once and done and for all, ladies and gentlemen, one last time, I thank y'all for watching this review, and I am Sanjay318, and I am signing out. Peace, guys.